Hey guys, I am back with my July setup, and before we jump into things, I want to show you how June turned out. I also want to thank Squarespace for their continuous support on my channel and for sponsoring today's video. I will tell you more about them later on, and there's also going to be a giveaway at the end, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So I have to say, this setup has been one of my all-time favorites. It was quite simple but super functional, which I loved, and I did end up using some colors here on my trackers. I thought it would stand out a bit more. I have yet to fill out my milestones and highlights page, and I will do that very soon. So then we get into the weekly pages, and I got so many questions about how this worked, so I'm going to explain it now. So every morning I made the header for the day of the week, and then I wrote all of my tasks, which I checked off throughout the day as I completed them. The next morning I would continue where I left off and again draw the title and then write the tasks. And I love this because I only used as much or as little space as I needed for each day. And you can see here on the next spread, this is where I actually had 2 weeks on the same spread because I skipped a few days where I didn't need to use my bullet journal. A question that I got asked a lot is what happens if you have to plan something a few days in advance. So let's say if it's Monday and you have to plan something for Thursday. Well, in this case, what I would do is I would go back to my monthly spread and write it in here. And if you have a lot of things to write down, then you can make your calendar a lot bigger. Or something else you could do is to just draw a small weekly calendar somewhere on your weekly pages so that you can write down reminders for each day. Alright, so next I just have a list that I needed to make, and then I left the next page blank for the last week of June. So that was it for my June setup. Now let's get into the cover page for July. I started off by tracing a circle onto the page, and then I used my gold jelly roll pen and my Fineliner to draw some leaves at the bottom of the circle. Then I drew some triangles with different shapes and patterns inside, and honestly I just wanted to have fun with it. Obviously I was going for like a boho theme, and I used all sorts of shapes and patterns that I thought would fit with the vibe of this theme. So I did moons and stars and arrows and stuff like that. After I wrote the title with the gold pen, I drew some shadow to make it stand out a bit more, and then I drew some feathers hanging from the bottom. I kept them pretty simple. I just did some small designs to make it a bit more interesting, and then at the top and bottom of the page I drew a simple triangle pattern to tie everything together. There's kind of a lot going on this page, more than I would usually go for, but I think because everything fits within the same vibe, I feel like it works. I love how the gold jelly roll sparkles in the light. It really makes everything look magical. The next page is going to be my monthly calendar, and for the title I'm drawing a kind of wreath using the same elements as before. I had to be really careful after using the gold pen because the ink dries super slowly, and it smudges a lot if you accidentally touch it with your hand, but once it's dry it's good to go. I haven't noticed any smudging afterwards. Because my notebook is blank, I used a grid paper underneath to help me draw straight lines for the calendar, and the boxes are 3 by 4 squares. If you have a ton of things going on, then you could use the whole spread to draw a larger calendar, but I found that this size is more than enough for me at the moment. Next to it is my monthly to-do list, and as always I am doing 2 separate columns for personal and business tasks. And then I wanted to add some decoration at the bottom, so I just did some more leaves on either side and finished it off with some black and gold triangles. Moving on to my goals page. Last month I did my goals on 2 pages, but there was a lot of blank space and I just didn't find myself flipping to that spread as often as I would have liked. So this time I thought I would combine my goals with the highlights page. This theme is so versatile, and I know I'm going to have a lot of fun coming up with different designs to decorate the pages, because you can see, I'm only using like triangles and circles and lines, so it's really easy to make up different patterns and to really just have fun with it. So you can keep it really simple or make it even more intricate if you want. So I didn't know what to do for the header of my habit tracker, so I just started off with drawing the boxes for each of my habits. Then I busted out my calendar stamp, which I have been obsessed with because it saves so much time when doing these calendars. I did have to wipe off Sunday the 1st because it just wouldn't have fit as well. Then I just wrote the names of all of the habits, and meanwhile I got some ideas for the title, so I just wrote it out and decided to draw some leaves on either side, and then I did a simple black and gold line pattern to frame it. The next page is something that I've started doing last month, which is the spread that helps me keep track of watering and fertilizing all of my plants. So I drew 3 boxes again. The first 2 are for the different plants that I have in my studio, and then the third is for the plants in my bedroom. And I found this page super helpful last month because it was right next to my habit tracker, which I use every day. So I was able to keep an eye on making sure that I take care of all of my plants as well. This tracker could also be used for different house chores or cleaning or things like that. Moving on, I am doing a mood tracker this month, and I haven't done one in forever because I kept telling myself that I'm going to start a new journal, like a diary, because I wanted to keep all that personal stuff in there, but I kept pushing it off and time flew by, so I was just like, I might as well do it in here until I actually start the journal. So I just did a simple vertical layout, and I think I'm going to fill it in using the same black and gold line pattern that I've been using throughout the setup, because I think that will look really nice in the end. On the next page, I did my expense tracker, and I did actually like the layout from last month, so I'm just doing another variation of it. Basically, I just did the title in the middle of the page and then 4 sections at the top and bottom. So the 4 sections at the top are going to be for tracking my total expenses for each week of July, and I have a few different categories that I like to track there. And then at the bottom, I have a section for income, bigger purchases, account balance, and notes. And if you guys are interested in a more in-depth video of how I do my expenses and all of that, then make sure to let me know in the comments. And now finally we're coming to the weekly page. I'm only going to be drawing the title and the first day of the week because I'm going to be using the same system as I did last month. It just worked extremely well for me as opposed to drawing the full weekly spread. So I definitely recommend you give this a try in case you haven't already. Alright you guys, so just before I share the final flip through, I'd like to tell you a bit more about Squarespace and why I've loved my experience with them. Squarespace is a powerful platform that allows you to create a beautiful website, whether it's a portfolio, an online store, a blog, or whatever else you need. The awesome thing is that you don't need any experience in web design because you can use their beautiful templates to create and customize the website of your dreams, and you can also set up your domain through them, so it's really an all-in-one platform to get your website running as quickly as possible. So if you're interested, you can go to squarespace.com/MyLifeinaBullet and you will get a free trial as well as 10% off your first purchase. Alright you guys, we are finally done setting up for July, and here's how everything turned out. As always, I really hope you continue to tag me in your recreations on Instagram. I love to see them. And if you're curious about any of the supplies that I used, don't forget to check the description box because I will have links to everything down there. And now for the monthly giveaway, I'm going to be hosting it here this time, and I'm giving away a notebook of your choice as well as some of my favorite journaling supplies. All you have to do to enter is leave a suggestion in the comments of videos you'd like to see from me, and that's literally it. I will have all the information in the description, so make sure you check that out. Thank you so much for planning with me this month. I hope you have a wonderful one, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye guys!